Baldurs Gate 3 Patch 8 comes with the new subclass for each of 12 classes, and today we're making a build for a ranger. So hail and meshes kings and queens, it's me, the King. Today we're going to build Swarmkeeper ranger. So this will work, she is gorgeous. Okay, you can pick whatever race you like. Ranger will have every proficiency we need. 13th class of course will be ranger. Natural explorer, wanderer of fire to get resistance to fire damage, one of the most common damages in the game. Favored enemy will be a bounty hunter. It will make creatures we hit with ensnaring strike have disadvantage on saving throw, and that's really important for us. For background, go with any background you like, doesn't matter. In skills, I recommend always have perception, and that's it. Ability points is really kinda simple for ranger, and they almost perfect from the start. We want maxed out, so choosing ability points for ranger is also quite simple. We will use our bow as main damaging source. We will use a bow ranger today. Therefore, we don't need any strength to use a bow, we just need maxed out dexterity at 17, and since our main spellcasting ability is wisdom, we're getting 16 points in wisdom, leaving constitution at 15 to round it up later on. So we're ready to go. And as ranger at level 1, you're basically most basic character, without any abilities, and you can only make a basic shots. So what you want to do is to go straight to the beach and start leveling up. At level 2 you will be able to pick up spells, and main and most important spell for our ranger will be Hunter's Mark. The second choice will be Long Strider. For fighting style, I'll guess it's self-explanatory. We're going with the bow, so we're going for archery. At level 3 we finally can pick our subclass, and it will be new Swarmkeeper. So that's how this subclass functions. You will gain passive Gathered Swarm, and that's most important ability of our Swarmkeeper, and you can create Legion of Bees, Cloud of Jellyfish, or Flurry of Moths. Let me pull out the stuff on the screen right now. You will be able to use one of 3 options with your Legion, Cloud, or Flurry, whatever, basically with your Swarm. You can deal extra damage on hit of different damage types, this will be dependent on your Swarm. You can teleport, or you can get some utility option, and that's the biggest part about this class. Utility options will scale and be really difficult to deal with for your opponents, for your enemies in the late game. Technically, as damage dealer, you can pick whatever option you like, cause it will just add you extra damage on hit, if that's everything and only thing you're caring about. Or if you want to roleplay and be cool jellyfish commander. But if you want a really powerful utility character, you want to pick between Legion of Bees right now or Flurry of Moths. Bees will give you ability to push enemies away, so you can stay away from them, and it synergizes well, for example with Warlock in a party, you basically can push enemies away and they will never reach you. But most powerful is Flurry of Moths, in my opinion, especially at this point of the game. It will require enemy to succeed on constitution saving throw, or he will be blinded, and being blinded is awful. At the same time, we're dealing psychic extra damage on hit if we want to, so psychic resistance is not what you will see a lot early stages of the game. And also we will be able to pick one more spell. The spell will be Ensnaring Strike. Don't forget, we got Bounty Hunter, and enemy will have disadvantage against our Ensnaring Strikes. That's really big one. At level 4, you don't need to pick anything beside your feat. And this feat may be obvious, like Sharpshooter, but I don't like Sharpshooter at this point of the game, because it gives us -5 penalty to attack rolls, we still don't have really good weapon, we need to level up a little bit more, so I like at level 4 just to pick stable +1 to attack rolls with +1 into dexterity, and stable bonus to our health and saving throws from +1 to constitution, so basic ability improvement. And level 5, ranger level 5, as any other martial class we get an extra attack as well as spell. This spell will be Web, one of the least useful spells in the game, but for this class it's especially useful and pretty cool. Again, I will remind you, every level up you can change your Swarm. For now I would stay with Moths still, but what I always advise you to do is to experiment and have fun. You can change your Swarms every level up, have some fun, explore how they work, and then stick with something you definitely like and enjoy using. At level 5 we get access to level 2 spells, and another spell we may take a good use of is Spike Growth. And this ranger works extremely simple. You will see your Swarm and it always will be with you. The main key to utilize this ranger is to utilize mobility. That's why we like to always have Long Strider on ourselves, and the only one kind of problem for us is for our spells will be all concentration spells. So we always need to pick what we want in the particular fight. Options animations are pretty simple. Web will create small surface and it probably will enweb enemies. Therefore they will be stuck over here in the web and we can easily shoot them with our bow. Spike growth will create larger surface and it will be basically our zoning tool. So you most likely won't actually do a lot of damage with spike growth. Enemy can just jump from the center, and spike growth most likely will be used just to create surface, so enemies can't go through it. For example, like that, we just block a lot of this portion of the map and creating surface that is completely impossible to go through. And then we just shoot enemies with our bow. Whenever we shoot him, we get an option. Flurry of Moths, attack for extra psychic damage, Binding Swarm to blind our target, or teleport. So when you're creating this hard to go through terrains, it's nice and smart to just use teleport. After clicking on teleport, you will have this bonus action over here. Basically it requires you no bonus action and you can teleport up to 5 meters. It looks pretty cool. You're raised by your swarm and now you're back. So in one single turn we got this 14 meters movement speed and we can get back like extremely easily from the combat. It's basically impossible to go right to us. This is definitely not making us most powerful archer ever, but utility and control is on another level. If you don't like this pop-up all the time, you can just choose something that you're using more often. So for example, if you just never want to use your extra actions, you can completely turn off everything and turn off ask button over here, and whenever you attack it will just auto attack enemy with this extra damage. So this is something you can make to simplify playstyle, and you can do it only once per round, so you need to do it carefully and smartly. That's why actually I recommend keeping this on. The biggest and most powerful stuff will be Hunter's Mark. It will add extra damage on top of our damage whenever we hit this target, and it functions like a hex. So whenever we defeat our first initial target, we can reapply Hunter's Mark without consuming spell slots. And that's what makes the Swarm Ranger extremely powerful, especially in early game with this a lot of extra damaging on top. And as you can see, he gets 2 damage instances from our swarm. That's because this secret notable feature, Prey Scent. Your swarm deals additional 1d6 psychic damage to creatures marked by your hunter's mark. But yeah, don't forget, blinding enemy is extremely powerful. It will not only benefit you, but also your allies. Now your allies will have advantage on shots against this enemy, on hits against this enemy, while enemy will have disadvantage on attack rolls. But it's time to understand what weapons we want to use to become powerful and really useful ranger. And again, most obvious way will be to defeat these gnolls, save these guys and get password. And after you find burning house, go straight to the left. Remove boxes from the door and you will know the password for this crazy dude who's trying to shoot fireball right at you. And after getting inside hidden stairs, we are in a Gentarim hideout. After speaking with the leader, we can unlock secret stash from Bram the trader. And he will sell us Titan String Bow, arguably the most powerful bow in the game, because it will add extra strength modifier to your weapon attacks. However, why would you pick Swarmkeeper if you want to mess up with this giant strength potions, lotions and other little bit boring stuff? Instead, let's make a really useful utility archer. Coolest part, we can start making him right from the get-go. The first item we will take is from Aaron Trader, and it will be Spell Sieve Bow. Whenever we land a critical hit, we will replenish one level 1 spell slot. It's a long bow, so base damage is 1d8, but also ability to replenish spell slots is really nice, since most of the time level 1 spell slots will be used to reapply Hunter Mark whenever we lose concentration, and this gives us extra spell slot for the full day. And to make high chances to land a critical hit, we can always try to ensnare our targets. Yeah, it's 1 spell slot, but that's how I recommend you using your last spell slot. We're just ensnaring and blinding target. Now we get advantage, and with advantage it's a lot easier to land a critical hit and replenish our spell slot, just like that. And then we're going straight to the goblin camp, and another item will be from Grat the trader. So again, it's easy to obtain, we just buy these gloves of archery. Now our bow attacks will start dealing extra 2 damage. That's a small bonus, but on top of our extra damage, that's a big stuff. But there's one more really important item you want to get. Inside goblin camp camp while being stealthy Swarmkeeper, you can easily lockpick this door in Priestess God quarters. To get access to the secret and forgotten temple, solve the puzzle and unlock secret door. And we will get access to Underdark. Head straight to MacLeod colony. Find Trader Blurk and talk with him until he will show you his friend. His octopus friend will give you quest, and it's easy to complete. On another side of Underdark there is Arcane Tower. You want to find a way right behind the tower. Get this Susur Bloom, unlock the door, and power up generator with this flower exactly. Now you can use elevator to go to secret floor over here and find Timosk spores as well as Tongue of Magnus. Get back to MacLeod colony. This will finish octopus quest, and this will unlock his store. He got a bunch of very cool and unique items. What we are looking for is Boots of Stormy Clamor. So, why this boots is so good for our build? Because whenever we inflict condition upon enemy, they will take 2 turns of reverberation, and this will lower the ability to resist constitution and strength saving throws. And that's exactly what our Swarm uses to inflict conditions upon our enemies. So let's see how we're leveling up further. Most of the time, we're actually stopping being Ranger from level 5, because we already got our double attack, not with Swarmkeeper though, because Swarmkeeper will increase his power when we investing in Swarmkeeper. You definitely want to invest in Swarmkeeper as much as possible. Same as Spore Druid, for example. Or there is like no reason to play a Swarmkeeper actually. So at level 6 we get one more favorite enemy, and it doesn't matter at this point. What I suggest you to do is to pick Ranger Knight. So this will give us ability to have proficiency in heavy armor. For example, you got bored of dexterity armors, or you found good heavy armor, and you basically can just hop it on yourself and it will work. For natural explorer, I would say the best one will be poison, or you can go with urban tracker. So you will have proficiency in sleight of hand and you will unlock some traps a lot more easier. And at this point of the game, just continue playing with flurry of moss. I won't cover any extra spells, pick whatever spells you like, it doesn't matter. So we just level up until level 8, that's where we can pick our feat, and this feat will finally be Sharpshooter. So now we can turn this stuff on. We will get penalty to attack rolls, but most likely we won't even notice it, but we will deal extra 10 flat damage on top. That's a big one. I forgot to mention that at level 7 we actually unlock Rising Tide. Now with bonus action we get 3 charges every long rest, and we can move up to 9 meters, and that's actually 9 meter flying movement speed. That's what makes this ranger extremely powerful. Again, as I told you, mobility and utility. We can easily put a web over here, fly around it without any problems, and coolest part, it works every turn for 10 turns. Yeah, just with bonus action now you can fly, and that's what you will be using your bonus action for, to stay away from the combat and deal damage from afar. Next up, level 9, we get one more spell. Now we get access to spell from level 3, and we will just go with most powerful arrow in the game, Lightning Arrow, level 3 transmutation spell, very powerful one. And actually as this ranger you actually want to use some arrows to inflict additional damage most of the time. Also you will gain more casts of Withing Current per day, and you will be able to use Gaseous Form. It's also concentration spell, we won't use it a lot, but again it helps you just to run away from combat if you need to. Very useful as party member on Honor mode. If your party fails, he can just fly away, turn into Gas Cloud, and basically do some Zoidberg and recharge your party pretty easily. On level 10, basic ranger action, hide in plain sight, not very useful, but sometimes you can use it if you're creative enough. Favorite enemy doesn't matter. Natural explorer, kinda the same, you can pick poison, everything until this point to go to level 11 and finally get Mighty Swarm. Now our Swarm will start to deal 1d8 extra damage instead of 1d6, but most importantly, special attack will have 1 additional future, and that's where everything starting to change. So take a look over here. Utility option now changed, and by a lot. We can still continue use Flurry of Moss, it's still very powerful. We will blind our enemy as well as slow them down. Enemies will be basically useless if they fail Constitution saving throw. If you're using bees, now they will not only push enemies away but also fall them prone. After getting up from fallen state, target will lose a bit of movement speed, around 3 meters if I recall correctly. This means basically if you're fighting versus dwarves or someone with low movement speed, they will have no chance to come close to you ever. But most powerful in my opinion in late game will be Cloud of Jellyfish, of course. You will not only shock enemies, and shock is not like a big stuff, but you will disarm them, and being able to disarm enemy every turn basically. In my opinion, pretty insane. That's why at level 11 we're changing Swarm finally to Cloud of Jellyfish. Picking any spell you like, we're not using them anyway. And basically while you're advancing through the game like this, you want to upgrade your bow. Yeah, this bow is very good for Act 1, but then you can upgrade it for just any good bows with bonuses. There's a bunch of them, but towards Act 3 you probably will look for something like Death Shot. That shot is +2 enchantment, very powerful, but also will reduce number you need to roll for critical hit, and you will have double proficiency rolls when rolling range attacks with this weapon. That's really a powerful bow, very nice choice, but honestly in Act 3 you want to go and fight for Gaunter Mile, for legendary bow. On hit you possibly will inflict Guiding Bolt. It's also a condition, and basically you get loads of condition to inflict upon your enemies. It's not only the best bow in the game in terms of enchantment, but also it comes with Celestial Haste, which is insanely powerful haste. It's not like basic haste, because there is no penalties to this haste. Basically you're just getting this 5 turns of extra action. It uses concentration, so that's a little bit of problem, but again with haste and ability to use bonus action to like fly every turn and insanely high damage output upon enemies, ability to teleport yourself, you're basically impossible to catch. And don't forget, after you teleport you also get in +2 to your armor class. Again, it's really easy to get away from enemies if needed. I will turn off Sharpshooter Olin so you can see Mighty Shocking Sting. That's how it looks like. He saved, but he is now affected by reverberation. That's basically the reason why we get another ways to apply effects. Whenever we hit enemies, they will probably get this reverberation effect, and now it will be a lot easier to hit our awesome disables and they will lose their weapon. Just look here, while they affected by reverberation, it's a lot more chances to succeed and make enemy disarmed, shocked and prone at the same time by affected with Guiding Light. Your team will easily finish enemies off while you just fly away on your jellyfish army and melt enemies with shock arrows from the outside. That's how powerful this ranger could be. Very cool, stylish, utility-based character. I hope you enjoyed this build and you will have blast trying Swarmkeeper for yourself. Make sure to watch other cool builds to party him up with good and powerful allies. And see you in the next videos.